So this is a code walkthrough for the files Scope.java and ScopeClient.java. Let's start by opening up the file Scope.java in JGrasp. This class contains two methods, add2 and sub2. Each one takes two integer inputs, adds or subtracts them, and multiplies them by a scale factor. Again, notice that there's this local variable, result, in both of them. It's the same name, but recognize that this result variable has method scope, so as soon as this method is done, this result variable disappears. So in other words, there's absolutely no conflict between this result and this result. Notice that this scale factor variable has class scope, so it can be used inside each of these methods. So let's compile this and run it. And what this is telling us is that we can't run this because there's no main method in this class. Well, we already know that every Java application requires there to be at least one main method. So what this is telling us is that this is intended to be a standalone Java component intended to be used in some client application. Okay, so let's now open up the client code and see how we use that class. And I'm throwing you a little bit of a curve here. This is a preview of what's to come. But to use that scope class, we have to create a new scope object called obj, and then to call those methods, we're going to call them in the context of this object using dot notation. So both of these accepted two integer values and returned a double. So we're simply feeding it two integer values as it's expecting, and then returning the result to a double and printing it out. Notice here that we're reusing this same double variable answer since we're printing out its value before reusing it. So let's go ahead and compile this file, and we'll just free run it for now. And we see that we're getting the answer 75 and 25, which might look a little bit odd. But if we go back into the class, remember that we're multiplying by this scale factor. So we're multiplying the sum, or the difference between the two numbers, by 0.5. So 150 times 0.5 is 75, and 50 times 0.5 is 25. So we're getting the right results. Let's also run this with a debugger from the main client. So I'll set a breakpoint by clicking in the margin, click the bug icon, and I'm going to step through this. And now I'm going to click the bent arrow and go into the add2. And now we're inside this add2 method. We've got the 150 as inputs. We've got this local variable result equal to 75. And now we're returning it. And notice what happens. It disappears. We're done with it. So we'll print out the results. And we'll do the same thing with the other method. Again, notice that our inputs are 150. We have a temporary local variable result, and as soon as we pass this back to the caller, that variable disappears. It's passed back to this result variable answer, and we print it out. And that's all there is to it.